And now I got to say all of that stuff again because now I got to say it for the video. Anyway, today we're looking up Scholastic Book Services, which is a paperback, vintage, 60s, 50s, and apparently a little older. I'm not real sure. And that's why we're looking it up, because I'm not sure. I have a consignment auction that's coming up in, I don't know, a couple of weeks. It's the Larco one. And it's got a huge stack of really, really interesting Scholastic Book Services. And then as I was going through it, I had a lot of titles that I hadn't seen before. And if you guys have been watching me for any length of time, I hate not knowing, but I love finding out. So that's what we're going to do. So first, teach me a little bit about the Scholastic Book Services paperbacks. And then we're going to look at that. Let me fix this, center that up. There we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go look on eBay. We're going to look at like sold listings. We're going to do a little research. So first, let me show you what the hell I'm even talking about. Okay? Because let me set the stage for you, as it were. These are them. If you've collected books, or if you're out there sourcing, if you're a book reseller or seller or book rehomer, however you want to phrase it, you've seen these all over the place. You go to estate sales, you can, oh, that's a fun one. That's a really fun one. And Leslie Del Rey, if you guys know, like, he's a really popular sci-fi, like, adult writer, you know, Beverly Cleary. So some of these things are really, really neat. And of course, the covers, nostalgic gold. And then of course, we're all at the age where these are, again, like I said, nostalgia. A lot of us would have had these. And probably one of my most favorite things in the world to do as a book person, as a person who finds old stuff and like rehomes it, is to get that message from somebody, or like in chat or whatever the case may be. He's like, oh, I had that as a kid, or, oh, I haven't seen that in so long. And that's just like, it like that, like the dopamine centers just start like firing. So yeah, so I'm a fan. I do try to save these when I can. They're sometimes hard to find in real good condition, unless they've been kind of forgotten. Because you got to remember, these were with kids, you know, and kids are kids. Kids do kid things. 1970s here. Well, now we know what we're talking about, we're going to start looking them up. So as you can see, there's horror ones, science ones. I've seen that one before. The Space Hut, never seen that one before. And some of these, as I understand it, can be pretty pricey. So, but let's get a background on it first. The Scholastic Corporation, which we all know Scholastic, they do the book fairs and all the stuff that we grew up with. Amazing. Ran Scholastic Book Services as its main mail order paperback division for schools. Had no idea it was a mail order thing. No idea. You would think that some of them are probably even like more rare or rarer because they were a mail-in. Starting in the late 1940s, did not know they were that long, and exploding in popularity through the 50s and 70s. These are obviously the ones we find the most. These are the little paperbacks a lot of Americans remember ordering from classroom flyers. You guys remember the little like newspaper print flyers? I bet you those are collectible. Like the actual like flyers from the 1940s. Like as a book person, I think that'd be like a cool thing to like frame up. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, Scholastic Book Services was the school distribution arm that sold inexpensive, made books accessible, thank you, paperbacks directly to students through teachers. Accessibility is important, and it's something that we have to actively do. You know, it's not something that happens on accident. You know what I'm saying? Oh, good. I'm glad, book. They do the flowers. I had no idea, Shell. My kids are homeschooled, and just because with COVID and my wife's health and stuff, and so I have no idea what people are doing these days. Students checked boxes for the books they wanted. They brought coins or a dollar bill. Teacher mailed the order. That's kind of how it still happens, right? That's how it happened when I was a kid, but I'm 40 now, so. Oh, you were so excited when the books arrived. Not my books that I sent to you, the Scholastic books. Same page club. I get it. And if you're watching this on YouTube later, there's a whole chat here. Watch me on YouTube as we do, or whatnot, while we do these lives. Eventually, I'll get the chat back on the screen so that way we can see it, but not today. Typical prices in the 60s, $35.50 and 65 cents. Kind of a trick if you're out in the wild and you need to kind of scan and get data points quickly. Usually the lower the price of a book, the older it is. That's kind of like how we look at comics. Like if I see 12-cent comics, like I'm double taking because I know those are like in the golden silver age of comics, right? Harder to find, you know. I can't say more collectible, but definitely to certain people, right? Because everything's collectible. So reprints of classics. These are all very famous. Outsiders. Key collector details. They have numbers. Catalog numbers. Okay, I don't think we need to know all this. Collector value reality check. Now, most of these are going to be pretty inexpensive, $3 to $10. When I find them a lot, unless it's like a really cool cover, I generally do lot them up so people can, because they're giving it to their kids or a school or whatever the case may be. Early covers of controversial books, love it. And then, of course, titles that the schools ban, those are all going to be a little bit better. So The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. I'm actually not familiar with the Chocolate War is. Let's go down that rabbit trail real quick. What is the Chocolate War? Do you guys know what this is? I don't know what this is. Oh, you still have your mail order books from 64? That is so cool. Thank you, Angela. I appreciate that. The Chocolate War is a dark young adult novel about power, bullying, and I can't say words today. Institutional corruption in a Catholic boys' school. When it came out in 74, it shocked a lot of educators because it refused to give readers a comforting moral ending. Sometimes life doesn't have a comforting moral ending. That's why we have to fight for moral endings in real life. I think books are important insofar as they give us an example of how things should work out or could work out. It is up to us that are actually living in reality to understand that those people in those books, like even the characters, they're making that good ending happening. Like, it's not just going to happen on accident. And I mean, sometimes it does. I can't say it never happens on accident. But more often than not, sweat, tears, and blood. So just take that to heart. Go out and help wherever you can. Create joy, create value wherever you can. Make it all good. All right, so let's go. Let's do that. So here's a few. Let my computer catch up, and then we will start looking at the eBay listings here. Okay, here we go. First, we're going to go look at Terapeak, or what is now called Research. This is the back end of eBay here. Scholastic Book Services. All right, so we're going to go probably antiquarian collectible, right? Oh, wow, okay. So the way we usually do this is we take a look at kind of active sellings first. This still bums me out. This didn't used to cap out at 1,000. This used to give you an actual reflection of how many are on. So this stat doesn't help us a ton, but it's interesting to see some of these ranged at 275. Let's kind of take a look at what's all being sold. Let's look at that one. What's up with that? Charlotte's Web. Let's take a look at that. Strange Energies. Let's take a look at that. Here's a giant 76 book lot. 500 hats. That's a Dr. Seuss. And then what we'll do is we'll kind of take a look at a few of these to kind of see what is what. But, of course, we're going to go look at sold, too. Let's look at these before we look at sold. The reason why I don't normally look at, like, what's just being sold, because I have no idea if this is, like, a fair reflection of the cost, right? Because, like, when you list things on eBay, you can list it for, I've literally found this. No way this is a $150 book. No, I don't. See, I don't know. Let's skip that. Now, this is probably legitimate. This is not a Scholastic Book Services, I don't think. But old Dr. Seuss, if you see this 500 hats, there's a paperback version of this, too, that's still probably $25-$30. So this is definitely a bolo. Yeah, Shell, that doesn't make any sense. It's just like, I don't know. Let's find out. Let's go to Terapeak. Because if you're looking at prices or you're looking to price your own items, you got to look at the solds. Like what actually sold. Like what money has actually exchanged hands. This is awful. 1.86% sell through. This tells me that there's a lot being listed and not a lot being sold. So let's find out what is being sold. All right, let's average price. So let's take a look. That one. So it looks like a lot of bundles. Huh. Let's look at new and used and see if there's anything a little bit more exciting. I was hoping that there would be like at least one or two or three that would just be like, boom, like $1 bajillion. You know what I'm saying? So this is Harold and the Purple Crayon. I cannot say that word. Please make fun of me if you'd like. The Jeep. I had this the other day. Oh, I probably undersold that. I probably sold this copy of the Jeep. This isn't mine, but I had a copy of this, and I think I whatnot auctioned it off for like $2. Folks, if you ever come to my Saturday show, we process 500 to 600 books every single week. I'm going to miss stuff. So, and that's all right. I do not mind missing stuff. Go make sure it finds a home. This is interesting too. I have found this before, so we'll take a look at that. You guys probably can't even see what I was just talking about, but we'll go through it. So obviously a lot of, when you bundle them up, they're going to do well. I wonder, sometimes when you see these bundles though, it's not necessarily because they're bundled, it's because one in it is super good, you know? So sometimes it's worth looking at a few and see if you can't find like a commonality. Neurodivergent pattern recognition to activate. You have the Peanuts cookbook. That's super cool. I have found the Peanuts cookbook at least once. And I also think I undersold that. I think I threw it up here for like $2 as well. That's all right. Again, I don't mind. This is why we learn. You know, we don't know what we don't know. I just grab stuff on, you know, covers and just vague memories of what I think is cool. But the show helps like broaden my horizons so I know more stuff. Because you can't know everything and you don't know what you don't know, you know? So, and that goes just for book selling, but for like life in general. Be open-minded, be curious about everything. And you'll never know, like the world is this big, vast place. And my only regret of being alive is that I won't be able to know everything. Cyborgs, but not from Elon. No, I won't let Elon turn me into a cyborg. Somebody else. I've literally had this one. And Keith Robertson is a pretty popular author. I've sold this for like a couple of bucks. That's funny. $40 paperback. And that's the other thing. When you go to the scanners, or you're going to go to the bins or thrift stores, and you know those folks like Rake and Profit that always tell people to scan, and that's great. I love the fact that you know people are getting books out of the trash and stuff. But these kind of books, the scanners aren't going to miss. Like you can't scan when there's nothing to scan. You know what I'm saying? So like, don't be afraid to go back behind the scanners. Don't be afraid to go to the thrift stores behind these folks. Learn the older books. They're going to be less gone through. You're going to be able to find gold for your personal collection or to trade up for something for your personal collection. It's just like baseball cards. You know what I'm saying? You know, you crack open something from a pack and you don't particularly care for it. You trade it. You trade it to somebody else. You know what I mean? Oh, thanks, June, for the bronze. All right. So let's do one more thing here before we take off. And again, this is going to be a very, very short show. I really just wanted to come on and familiarize myself a little bit right before I process this consignment show. I hate not because like I don't mind it so much for myself, right? Like if I lose money, whatever. Like I get stuff free, cheap. Like I'm happy to pass on the savings, especially if I don't catch it. Of course, I have to make a living. This is what I do for a living. I got to eat, so I can't leave too much on the bone too terribly often. But I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. I had a really good point, and then it just went poof right out of my head. It'll come back randomly, and I'll go back and I'll say it, and it'll have no context, and nobody will understand. So, but that's all right. So let's do highest first. Oh yeah, I just wanted to come on real quick. We got a lot of sourcing to do this week. We got the big show on Saturday. We got the consignment show coming up. We have a cookbook show, a paperback palooza coming up. So there's a lot of stuff going on. And as soon as I wrap up here, my wife will be waking up soon, and we're actually heading out to the Goodwill bins this afternoon. Oh, this is cool. How to be a nonconformist. Like what? Like what are these? Like that's. Could you imagine finding, I guess you would find that now since we're so woke, but like woke isn't new. You know what I mean? Whatever the hell that even means. I'm going to skip the bundles, but yeah, this Peanuts cookbook, I've definitely sold that for cheap. All the Peanuts stuff is worth picking up. Here's Camilla. I'm not familiar with that one. Stranger from the Depths. Encyclopedia Brown's always super popular. Captain Ecology? Who's that? Is this like the precursor to Captain Planet? I love Captain Planet, by the way. And if you didn't watch that as a cartoon, you missed out. I am sorry. There's spoofs of it now. That's super funny. But Captain Planet was fantastic. Completely radicalized me as a kid. Because how can you be told repeatedly that the power is yours and not believe it? You know, I loved all those shows. G.I. Joe, like, you know what I mean? Like the little like public service messages at the end. I think we should do that more, like even now. But anyway, childhood. So all the Oz stuff is worth picking up. Friendly Dolphins is good. There's a lot of dolphin collectors, more than you might think. All right, let's take a look at these. We pulled up a lot. So $40, How to Be a Nonconformist. I have never seen this in the wild, but I like the artwork. Very 70s. What else is here? Then we got the Peanuts. And now these are all sold listings. So these are ones that have actually, money has exchanged hands. You can take this price to the bank within a certain, reason. Condition is everything. This seems to be pretty good. And you can see here the spine here is relatively good. I know it's a little creased, a little staple damage right there, but by and large, I mean, these things are, you don't always find them in the best shape. So here's the other Peanuts book that goes along with this. I think the green one is the one that people are really looking for, with the old Linus in here. Is this my wife? Who was that? This is walk by. That's my wifey, the wiki wife. Carmilla. I bet you this is like a favorite or like a really famous book that I just don't know anything about. I'm going to leave that one up. I might look at that one. Stranger from the Depths. Again, I hate not knowing, but I love finding out. I want to know everything. Dopamine. Chase the dopamine, as that guy says. That is a creepy ass cover. Like, I would pick this up just based on cover alone. Do you know what I mean? So, all right, let's go through a few more. Encyclopedia Brown. A lot of you guys will recognize this. Also, if you guys are kind of younger folks and you happen to come across this video, like, this is for you guys. If you're resellers or thrifters and you just don't know anything about these older titles and stuff, this is for you, friends. Save Encyclopedia Brown. That was a really good part of a lot of people's childhoods. This I've never seen before. That is so fun. The Adventures of the Superhero with a Social Conscience. Whoo, boy, does he hate pollution. I would keep this, frame it, and put it on my wall. We got to keep our pale blue dot. It's our spaceship in the void. I know it's weird to think of it like that way, but like without Earth is our spaceship. we got to take care of the spaceship, team. The Marvelous Mud Washing Machine, again, probably really famous. I'm not overly familiar with this one, but really cool art. Romeo and Juliet, probably don't need to go into that one. Magic of Oz. Obviously, Wizard of Oz is always like an auto pickup, but this is a really cool cover. Very demonic-ish. I like it. I don't know if I trust that wizard guy. Friendly Dolphins here. And folks, I appreciate everyone kind of swinging by and hanging out. And this is kind of like a TikTok podcasty kind of show where we kind of learn some stuff. And then the auction shows, I have several. If you check my profile, you'll see all the ones coming up. And we will have roughly 600 listings in that show on Saturday. It's kind of like our Super Bowl every week. So I think that's all I'm going to look at today. Let's go ahead. And I appreciate you swinging. I appreciate you looking at and learning stuff with me. I have a mountain of these Scholastic Book Services to list for the Larco consignment show, which will be coming up in about a week or two. We got about 11 bags to get through. So I kind of wanted to familiarize myself with this stuff. I feel familiar with it. So, yeah, let's do something else.